What's your Tyler's back in the retro reviews on Tyler's retro reviews with the beginning of the June reviews in WWE Judgment Day 2003. Yeah, it's took place in May, but again, I don't care really. You thought I was not gonna do a Judgment this year? Come on. But considering there was only 4 weeks in May and 4 Thursdays in May this year, I was like, I gotta put it to June, I guess. So there's that. This is kind of a noteworthy pay-per-view because this is the last B-WWE pay-per-view that have the where both Raw and SmackDown took place before in 4 years. Because right after this event, the following pay-per-view, which would be Bad Blood, which that only exclusive to Raw wrestlers, and the next one was Vengeance, which was exclusive to SmackDown wrestlers. Which you all know there would be the brand exclusive pay-per-views and all that. And yeah. So anyways, May 18th. No, it's not May 19th. It's May 18th. It was a Raw and SmackDown event. This would be the last, like I said, the last B pay-per-view that we did with having both Raw and SmackDown be present at the Charlotte Coliseum in Charlotte, North Carolina. So we gotta talk about now all this fucking shit. I'm not to be. Let's skip that. I'm not gonna talk about that one. Yeah, we're not gonna talk about that one. So just there's that. This is around the time where we actually start out with one of the two GMs in Stone Cold Steve Austin because it was right after Backlash where Linda McMahon announced Stone Cold as Eric Bischoff's co-general manager of Raw. And this was some fun stuff on Raw where Steve Austin was the face GM, Bischoff was the heel GM. They had like a 50-50 thing going on. Austin comes out, he welcomes everyone with the Judge, and he goes up to a skybox where gonna have some fun there. And then there's Eric Bischoff where he had a bad night. Let's just be fair here. He was he drinks beer like what Austin says, and then like basically he throw up, and then Austin just poured the beer in his face and all that. Let's just say Eric Bischoff had a bad night tonight at Judgment Day, so hilarious stuff right there. Anyways. Yeah. So let's get to the matches finally. With Johnson, the FBI, Chuck Palumbo, Johnny Stamboli defeats Chris Benoit, Rhino, and Spanky, aka Brian Kendrick. It was a 6-man tag match. You know, Cena went from it wasn't the main event of Backlash, but the SmackDown main event of Backlash. Yeah, say that correctly. Against Brock Lesnar. And this was before he feuded with The Undertaker for Vengeance. Like I said, Vengeance was a SmackDown pay-per-view. You really think they're going to have a match at Bad Blood? I already did those two already on this channel, so there's that. Like I said, it was a solid 6-man tag match. Could have been a little longer, but yeah, I get a 6 out of 10. It was a decent 6-man tag match. Anyways, next, so we have Lars, the stars of Sylvan and Renee Dupree defeat Scott Steiner and Tess. Tess was pulling double duty on this night because he's going to be another match later on. This was just basically a Raw match. I mean, that was it. Scott Steiner was being entertaining and all that, but this was right after he had that disaster feud with Triple H and all that. And yeah, it was a 2 out of 10. I'll give it. Also, this started the feud between Scott Steiner and Test over Stacy Keibler. And then they were teammates again, and Scott Steiner would go on afterwards, and he would go to TNA in 2006. But anyways. Then we get a ladder match for the WWE Tag Team Champions. This was supposed to be Chavo in this spot, but Chavo got injured, so Tajiri took Chavo's spot in this ladder match. So it's Agro and Tajiri defeating Los Guerreros, and this was a very good ladder match for the tag team titles. This was right before they brought the U.S. title to SmackDown. Remember when that belt would mean something? I mean, the belt didn't came in here, but it came into Vengeance and all that. But remember when the belt means something? Nowadays, it's just a belt just being defended under fucking open challenges and all that. Anyways, it was, like I said, 8 out of 10 I'll give this match. Anyway, speaking of mid-card titles, we get a Battle Royal to determine the vacated Intercontinental Championship. Now, I know Mercy 2002, which was like a lifetime ago now, Jesus. Triple H unified with the Intercontinental, the World Heavyweight Championship. I say unified in quotation because how the fuck do you unify a World Championship with a mid-card title? That doesn't make no fucking sense whatsoever. But then afterwards, like a week after Austin was, won the coach, he announced that at Judgment Day this event right here, there's gonna be a battle royal to determine the new Intercontinental Championship. Now, the reason why the belt was in hiatus and all that, they had to get rid of the WWF logo because this was a year prior where they had the name change and all that. So, any former Intercontinental Champion was supposed to be in this match, right? Well, yeah. Minus Booker T. Why is Booker T in this? Who cares? But Christian won this. And order of eliminations were Lance Storm, and then Kane was eliminated by everybody. Speaking of which, it's the same thing I said in Bad Blood 2003. Why is Kane right now coming out with their old theme songs? What, a dub thing on the DVD version? Tell me. Anyways, Lance Storm was the first one to get eliminated. Then Kane was the next one to get eliminated by everyone. Then Tess was out. Then Val Venus was out. Then Rob Van Dam was out. And it came down to Goldust, Chris Jericho, Christian, and Booker T. Yeah, Val Venus is no longer Chief Moy, by the way, or all that. Goldust gets eliminated by Booker T. Then Chris Jericho gets eliminated by Christian. And then there was a ref bump. Yeah, a ref bump in a battle royal. How the fuck did that happen? Booker eliminates Christian. He thought he won the belt, but Christian attacks Pat Patterson with the, and then grabs the belt, hits Booker T with it, and throws him over the top rope. So Christian won the battle royal like that. This started the feud between Booker and Christian, and all that, and yeah. Battle royal was decent. I'll give it a 6 out of 10. Then we get Mr. America defeating Roddy Piper. The one positive I had about this, It was a little better than their Halloween Havoc 97 cage match they had. Whatever the fuck that was. But we always know Mr. America was Hulk Hogan. The main reason of him is Hulk Hogan. The theme song is literally Hogan. This was the show with Zach Young, which it's fucking uncomfortable to see someone with one leg in the ring. I don't want to be that guy, but it's kind of, I don't. Yeah, Vince got involved. This was meant to be for a hair versus mask match at Vengeance. God, can you imagine if in that alternate timeline if that match happened? Hogan leaving and dropping this angle did not work for anyone else. Piper got fired after this. This was kind of a mess. And all that. It was just 1 out of 10 I'll give it. At least this was short. So that's one positive about this. Anyway. Oh, by the way, right after this, they did a lie detector test between Mr. America, and he somehow won the lie detector test. And then Vince wanted to do the lie detector test, and then Mr. America, aka Hogan, says, "Are you the biggest asshole?" and all that. And Vince goes, "No." And gets incorrect answers and all that. I had to point that out also. I almost forgot to mention it, but yeah. They did a fucking lie detector test also. And the best part was Vince said, "He's lying! It's Hogan, Hogan, Hogan! No, no, no!" And it's all correct answers. Anyways, next up is for the World Heavyweight Championship. Third to last? And the Women's Championship was after this? This is like Unforgiven 2002 again with Triple H. Seriously. Kevin Nash defeats Triple H by disqualification as a result of this. Triple H keeps the World Heavyweight Championship. Triple H was in his whole... says it was right after WrestleMania where he said to Kevin Nash, saying, "You're either with me or with Shaw," and all that, and then Nash obviously did not know who to pick, so Triple H kicks Kevin Nash in the Family Jewels and picks the whole thing for him, and then they had that 6-man tag at Backlash, and this would be Nash's last program in WWE because, well, we obviously know. Anyways, so they have their match here. This was a setup match for the Bad Blood Hell in a Cell match. That's all it was. It was literally a setup match. I am not counting Insurrection 2003 because the UK shows don't count in the storyline progression of WWE, really. Like, you play season 1 in the old SmackDown games, like Here Comes the Pain. If you want to go to the UK show, that it's just a filler show you do in story mode and all that. Literally. It was a okay world title match. I thought it was okay, but I did not like the result of the disqualification here, but I understand why, because they want to do the Hell in a Cell match with Mick Foley in it. Yeah, Church grabs his sledgehammer, but then referee Earl Hebner stops him. Church smashes Earl Hebner with the sledgehammer and gets himself disqualified. At least we don't get this today with Becky Lynch and referee Jessica Carr. Oh, I'm sorry. In her words on Twitter, corrupted Carr. What the Anyways, the Nash was pissed. He gives him a jackknife powerbomb and all that. Then Trish tries to run away or something like that. Nash gets him again. He pushes him through the Raw announcement, which was on the entrance stage. Which, the setting design was kind of cool. There's that, like, fire design on the construction site type thing, even though it... What does that have to do with the words Judgment Day and all that? But yeah. I give it a 5.5 out of 10, you know. This was honestly better than their Sledgehammer ladder match at TLC. Yeah, that stupid ass storyline of stick the winner and all that bullshit. We're not going to talk about that, okay? We're not going to talk about it, okay? Then we get next up is a fatal 4 match for the women's championship. Jacqueline, Trish, and Victoria. It was just, get in, get out. There's that, 5 out of 10, moving on. There's nothing to talk about it, really. Again, why is Trish Stratus coming after a Triple H match? It's like the second time I've done this. Unforgiven 2002, and now here in Judgment 2003. What? I love Trish, but why is she going after... Why is her match after Triple H's? Like, twice. I've done these. Random. It's like if today, if Charlotte Flair's match comes after a Roman Reigns match or something like that. It'd be ludicrous. But anyways, main event is the stretch race for the WWE Championship. Brock Lesnar defeats the Big Show to retain the WWE Championship. This started when Big Show basically killed Rey Mysterio at Backlash with a stretcher. And then Brock says, you want to bully somebody? Try to bully Brock Lesnar and all that. And Big Show says, you put that towel on and says, and then they made a stretcher match and all that. No, this is not the match where they broke the ring. That was on SmackDown. In case anyone knows, this is not the match. The stretch match is you have to push your opponent on the stretcher and put him and push it towards the finish line. Honestly, I don't like stretch matches anyways. I much prefer ambulance matches. Because at least it's a match where you put somebody in the back of a vehicle. But this is before that, so there's that whole thing. But this was a fine stretcher match. That's all I have to say, and all that. And the story they did here was kind of like, can Brock Lesnar put Big Show on a stretcher and all that, but he couldn't find like a big ass stretcher for the Big Show or something like that. Of course, when Brock's music hits, here comes Taz saying, well, here comes the pain. I'm not kidding. One time I missed when Taz was doing commentary on SmackDown and all that, and when Brock's music says, well, here comes the pain. Anyways. So Brock, the match was going on, you know, Brock leaves for something, Reigns' music hits, he trying to get his hands on Big Show, but Big Show was too strong, and then Brock was driving a fucking forklift, and basically beat up the Big Show all that, F5's him, put the stretcher on the forklift. This is a unique finish, I gotta say. He put the Big Show on the forklift with the stretcher on it, drives the freaking forklift to the finish line, and he wins the match. Honestly, that's a genius finish right there. So, this is probably the second best match on the show, next to the ladder match. So, yeah. 7.5 out of 10. not a fan of these type of matches, really. But overall, Judgment 2003 was kind of a middle-of-the-road pay-per-view, really. It's a really interesting time because this is like I said, the final pay-per-view before Raw and SmackDown had their own exclusive pay-per-views for B-PPVs. Minus Rumbles, Manias, SummerSlam, and Survivor Series. I mean, they're always going to be the big ones. They still are, really. Anyways, I'm leaning towards a 6 out of... Yeah, I'll give it a 6 out of 10. But anyways, next week we're going back to 2011 TNA. Again, I'm just praying for a good show because 2011 has been nothing but a crap year for TNA so far. Victor of 2011 says, I'm on that list. Yeah, you are. With a Slammiversary 9. But I'm not going to refer to it as just 2011. Where we finally get the final encounter between Kurt Angle and Jeff Jarrett. And I can't believe I hadn't done anything about Joker's thing yet. But this was like the genesis before that. So that's next week. SmackDown will be tomorrow and in the next episode United and all that. And we're done for now. Like this video, comment below, subscribe to this show, and as well as my main channel also. So, yeah, bye-bye.